Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel, and in this video I am going to show you how to make this bikini bottom that you see here, this beautiful cute bikini bottom. And as you can see, it's very basic. That's why I call it a basic bikini bottom. There's nothing too complicated with this. It's something that you can make if you're a beginner, if you're an intermediate or even advanced. You can just do this in a couple of hours and you have it ready. I'm doing it in my favorite color of all times, which is red, and I love this color so much. I'm going to be making a top as well, but for this video it's going to be to crochet this bikini bottom. It's very simple, very basic, and so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do to start this project off is we're going to do our foundation chain. And to do a foundation chain, I'm going to start with a slip knot, and this is how I do my slip knot here. Okay, so go ahead and do a slip knot however you usually do it. If you begin and you like to try how I do it, that's how I do it. Okay, and then I'm going to do a chain of 11. So 1, 2, 3. And now that I have my chain 11, I'm going to pivot my work a little bit like this because I'm going to be working in the back of the chain, which is these bumps here. Okay, so this is the front of the chain. It has the V's like that. The back of the chain has these lumps. Okay, all right, so I'm going to skip this first chain here and this second one. In this third one here, I'm going to do a double crochet, but grabbing that little bridge in the back of the chain like so to do my double crochet stitch, just like that. Okay, the two chains that we skipped counts as a double crochet, and now we did one, so that makes it 2. And then we're going to do another double crochet in the very next stitch, doing the same thing, going in the back of the chain, and you're going to do this until the end of this foundation chain. Okay, so go ahead and do that. When you get to the end of this foundation chain, come back and we will go on to the second row of the work. Okay, so that's the end of my double crochets in the back of the foundation chain, and that's pretty much how it looks like. Okay, so that is my first row, and you should have 10 stitches. So count these stitches, you should have 10 total. Okay, now to move on to the second row, I am going to chain 2, turn my work, and I'm going to do a double crochet in this very first stitch right here after the chain 2. So I do my double crochet, and you're going through both loops, so make sure you're not grabbing just the back or just the front. We're going through both loops like this. Okay, so we're going to again continue to do this all the way to the end of this. So this is our second row, and when we get to the end, we're going to chain 2, turn, and just repeat that until you get to the number of rows that you require. So this is the part of your bikini bottom that goes right underneath your, is the lowest part of your bikini. So this is where it's gonna go right on your crotch, if I may say that. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that here, but like it's gonna be the part that goes right between your thighs. Okay, and you're going to do these all the way to the end, like I said, like this. So for my size, I'm going to do 8 rows of what I just did here. So we have 2. I'm going to do 6 more, and when I get to that, I'll come back to show you how to increase, and we're going to work with the front part of the bikini bottom first. Okay, so if your size is a little bit bigger, so again, I'm making this in a medium size. Okay, so if you're making it a little bit smaller, then you will do less. The foundation chain will have less, as well as the number of rows that you do for the bottom part of your bikini will be less. Okay, so go ahead and do this until you get to the number of rows that you're looking to do. I will do my 8, and then I'll come back to show you guys how to increase for the first part of the bikini bottom, which is the front part. Okay, so I'll see you guys when you have the number of rows that you need for yours. Okay, my lovely, so I have completed 8 rows of the bikini bottom part here. So as you can see, it's literally the part that's gonna end up going as the bottom of the bikini. Okay, so you can also kind of, I guess, measure it at this point. I know mine is about 4 to 5 inches. So you need to measure yours to see how long you have to make it. If you need it a little bit longer, then you add more rows. If you need it a little bit less or shorter, then you'll need to do less rows than I did here. But this is my 8 rows. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead now and show you how to increase. And like I said, we're going to be starting with the front part of the bikini bottom, and then eventually we will switch the yarn to this side and be able to do the back side of the bikini bottom. Okay, now for us to be able to create the part that goes up like this, okay, so we have more coverage, we're going to have to increase. And to increase on this side, because it's the front, it's a little bit smaller than the back would, we're going to increase just 1, and we're going to do that on every row. Okay, so I'll show you what I mean. So we're going to chain 1, 2 like we have been doing, turn our work, and we're gonna just do our regular double crochet right there, and then we're going to continue to do a double crochet in each stitch across here until we get to the final 2 stitches. And when we get to the final 2 stitches, that's where the increase is going to happen. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I mean. Okay, so as you can see here, I have 2 stitches left. I have this stitch here and this stitch here. So on this stitch here, I am going to do 2 double crochets in the same stitch, just like that. And then in the next stitch, which is the final stitch, I'm also going to do 2 double crochets in there. Okay, so that's our increase there. And as you can see on this side, we're already starting to go outwards. And we're going to go ahead and start the next row. So we're going to chain 2, turn our work, and on the first chain or the first stitch here right after the chain 2, we're going to do our double crochet, and then we're just going to continue to do double crochets all the way until we have 2 stitches left, and in those 2 stitches we're going to do 2 double crochets per stitch. So that's how I am increasing my bottom here. Okay, so I will just show you how to do that at the end, and this is pretty much what you're going to repeat until you have the size that you're looking for to have your coverage for the front part of the bikini bottom. Okay, I believe I'm going to do 18 rows, about 18 rows. So again, I'm just going to stop here. I have 2 stitches to go. In this second last stitch, I'm going to do 2 double crochets in the same stitch, like that. And then I'm going to do 2 more double crochet stitches in the final stitch. And this is pretty much what you do until you get the size for the front. So if I put it down here like this, as you will see, starting to go outwards like this. Okay, so so this is my 2 rows here. I'm going to do 16 more rows, and all I'm really doing is when I do my chain 2 here, I'm going to turn and just continue doing what I've been doing, but I only increase at the end. Okay, so don't increase at the beginning of your work, increase at the end every time. Okay, and when you get to the number of rows that you're looking for, come back, and like I said, I'll be doing 18, and when I have my 18 rows, I'm going to come back and show you guys how it looks like. And then we're going to go ahead and reconnect our yarn on this side to be able to work on the back side of the bikini. Okay, all right, so I'll see you guys when you have your work, the number of rows that you're looking for. Okay, my lovely, so I have done my 18 rows for the bikini, the first part of the bikini bottom, and as you can see, this is the 8 rows that we did to establish the bottom of the bikini. And then I went ahead and started to increase to get the front part or the front panel of the bikini bottom done, and I did 18 rows total. Okay, so not counting the first 8, I did an extra 18. So that's pretty much how it looks like. Okay, so I'll just show you the length, the full length here. So this is the bottom, or where we started off, and then I increased, and this is where I ended up. So I just cut the yarn off here. So I'm going to go ahead and fasten these off here, and all I'm doing is I'm just going to pull these through here and pull it. Okay, so that's pretty much it here. So it looks the same on both sides. It's just a regular double crochet stitch. It doesn't look very complicated. I like to do very basic projects. For you all beginners out there who like to work and create things, it's always good to be humble and do your basic stitches first, and then from there you can make more complicated things. It just makes you learn a little bit much better. You start to understand dynamics and measurements and things like that before you go into very complex projects. Okay, all right, so that's pretty much it here. So I'm going to show you how to then go ahead and connect our yarn to do the back part of the bikini bottom. So I'm just gonna get my yarn that I had just cut off, and we're going to go ahead and do that. You can either connect it on this side or on this side. It doesn't matter because it looks just the same on both sides. Okay, so it doesn't matter where you connect your yarn, on what side you connect it in. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to connect that, and then we're going to go ahead and build the bottom, the back of the bottom of the bikini. Okay, all right, so I have my yarn here ready to connect. I'm just gonna do a knot here really quick. There you go. And what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna do a slip knot right here, just like that. Okay, and then I'm gonna take it off. Then I'm gonna go to this very first stitch here of our work. Just grab the very last stitch. Make sure you're grabbing the last stitch, and it's both of these loops, not just one, both of them, like so. And then I'm going to take my yarn that I just did right now. I'm going to connect it like that, and I'm going to be pulling it through, and then from here I'm going to do a chain 2. So that's 2, and in that very same stitch that we just went into, I'm going to do one more double crochet like that, and I'm going to grab this next stitch here, just this guy here, and it's going to be a little bit tough to work into, but just find a way to get into that. And I'm going to do 2 more double crochets in that stitch here. Okay, so this is part of the increase here that I'm doing. Okay, so instead of just doing that one, I'm actually increasing on here, and then for the next remaining, until I have 2 left at the end, I'm going to do a regular double crochet in each of these stitches here. And again, look, we have the V's here, and I'm going through both of these V's. Okay, so there you go, and I'm just going to do this until I say, like I said, I have 2 stitches left in this row, and then I'm going to increase on this side. So the bottom part we're increasing on both sides, and that's because typically the back panel of the bikini bottom is usually larger or wider than the front, unless you're intentionally making one that obviously is thin and it's more like a thong, then you would do it a lot smaller. So as you see here, I have 2 stitches to go. I have this stitch here and I have this stitch. So in this second last stitch, I'm going to do my 2 double crochets in that same stitch, just like so. And then I have one final one here, and of course again I'm going to do 2 more double crochet stitches in that final stitch. So then I'm increasing on both sides, and I'm going to be increasing a lot wider than I did in the front. Okay, so that's what it should look like so far. Okay, and then you're going to chain 2, turn your work, and you're going to do the same on this side as what we just did. So you're going to do a double crochet right in the next stitch after the chain 2. In the next stitch after that, you're going to do 2 double crochets in the same stitch, and then you're going to move on and do just 1 per stitch until you have 2 stitches to go at the end. And in those 2 final stitches, you're going to do 2 double crochets per stitch, and then you just repeat this again. So, and that's pretty much what you do until you get the number of rows that you require for the back to cover your back. So this is where maybe measuring it would work. You would just take your tape measure and put it in the base of your buttocks in the back and measure it all the way to where you want the bikini to end up landing. Okay, so I have my 2 double crochets to do here, and then in the last stitch my 2 last double crochets here as well, before I chain 2 and pretty much repeat what we just did in this second row here. Okay, so I'll let you guys go ahead and do what we did for the front. Okay, so as you see, this is what it looks like. This is the front, this is going to be the back. Okay, so don't forget to increase on both sides. So you will do a chain 2, put a double crochet in the very first stitch after the chain 2, in the next stitch do 2 double crochets in the same stitch. You do single crochets all the way until you have 2 stitches to go, and those 2 final stitches you do 2 double crochets per stitch, and you repeat that until you have the number of rows that you're looking for. I'm going to do about 22, and when I come back I will be able to show you guys how it looks like for the front and the back, and then we'll be able to do our strings to be able to tie on each side of our hip. Okay, all right, so I'll go ahead, or the waist I guess, so I'll go ahead and work on this. You do the same, and when you have that all done, come back to the video and we will go ahead and see how our work looks, and then we can fasten these guys in and do our strings or straps, and then we should be done the bikini bottom. Okay, so I'll see you guys when you are at the end of the back panel. Okay, my loves, so I have gone ahead and done my back panel of the bikini bottom here. I actually ended up doing 20 rows, so not 22 as I initially said. So I did 20, and of course, like I said, you can do as many as you need to have you fully covered in the back. And again, just as a reminder, I'm making a medium. So this is the front panel of the bikini. Okay, so this is pretty much how it's gonna go. So this is where the bottom is, and then it goes in like this, and we're gonna do our straps. So the straps will end up tying on each side, right here and right here on this side. Okay, so with that said, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do the straps. Okay, so I'm going to just start the strap for this section here, and I'm going to do a chain of 100. Okay, so I'm going to make quite a big or a long chain, because we're going to be working back on it by doing slip stitch to make the chain a little bit thicker. And usually when you do that, it does shorten the length of the chain a little bit. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with our 100 chains. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. And so with that done, I am going to go ahead and work with slip stitches coming back towards where we started the chain here. So to do the slip stitches, you're going to skip this first chain right where the hook is coming from, and in the second one here again, we're going to go into the back of it, and we're going to grab the stitch in the back, and we're going to do a slip stitch. And this is how you do a slip stitch here, and then you're going to move on to the next stitch, and you're going to go ahead and do that and do a slip stitch. And then this is pretty much what you do going down the chain. So you're gonna go ahead and do that all the way up to here, and then you're going to come back when you get to the end here. Come back so I can show you what to do next. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and do my final slip stitch right here, that last stitch here, and then going across the bottom here, I'm just going to go ahead and do half double crochets going along the top of the bikini bottom here, and I'm going to do this all the way until I get to this end here. And when I get to this end, I'm going to put my final stitch right here. Okay, and then when I do my final stitch right here, I'm going to chain my 60 and then do slip stitch back, and then when I get back to the bottom here, I'm going to pretty much end the yarn, cut it off, and then I'm going to transfer it to this side. Then I'm going to connect my yarn into this very first stitch here, chain up my 60 again, do the slip stitch coming back. I'm going to do half double crochet or single crochets across, and then I'm going to repeat the same thing here and then do the slip stitches back and then disconnect. Okay, so that's pretty much what you're going to do. So you should have a strap that is that long for all of your 4 straps that you're making, that you're going to be using to tie your bikini together. And then on top here, you're going to kind of be snatching it in a little bit with a single crochet stitch, and you're going to be doing that on this side as well. So it kind of just snatches in a little bit, makes it look nice and neat. So you're going to do that. Make sure you fasten your strands that are hanging off, and I'm gonna do the same. So I'm going to be doing that off camera, and when I come back, the bikini top bottom is going to be done. So I'm going to be showing you guys what it looks like as the final product. Okay, so I'll see you guys when all of that is done. Okay, my lovelies, so this is pretty much done. So as you can see here, I have done all of my straps. This is the straps to tie my bikini on this side here, and this is the strap for me to tie my bikini on this side here. So as you can see, it looks, this is for medium. I have a little bit of a backside to cover with this, so that's why I made the back a little bit wider than you may expect, just because I don't want it to be this thin and not have as much coverage as I would like. Of course, if you're making this for yourself, like I said again, you have to gauge how much of a coverage you require and do it made based on how you increase in the back. It's going to give you either a wider coverage or a full coverage or just a little bit of a coverage. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and just tie my straps here on the side, and then I'll tie on the other side as well, and then that's pretty much gonna be it. So hopefully you guys have something that looks kind of like this. If you're a beginner, you know, like hopefully you have your bikini bottom that looks just like this, especially just like the evenness and the neatness of it. I don't expect that all of your sizes are going to be the same as mine, but if you have a medium like me, then you're going to be making one that is like this. So that's pretty much it. So this is my bikini bottom here. It's all done. All of my edges are weaved in, all of my yarn or strands are weaved in, and that's it. So this is the front and this is the back. Quite a good coverage here for me, and that's it. So thank you so much, you guys, for watching this to the end. Just as an FYI, I'm going to be doing a bikini top to match this in the next couple of videos or so, so please look out for that, so you can make yourself a matching bikini top. And if you're new to my channel and you have not yet subscribed, please go ahead and hit the subscription button. Make sure you comment, like, and as well as share this video with your friends. And again, thank you so much for watching to the end, and I will see you guys in my next video. Ciao ciao.